Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene. Another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. Don't worry, it's me behind the helmet. It is cold as heck out here today, guys. The wind is so high, they have a wind advisory warning for the last 2 or 3 days they've had it. I was actually considering unplugging the mic from my phone and just to let you guys hear the wind, how it's whistling so bad, almost like a freight train. I decided to come out on an early night stroll. I was going to come out earlier, but I had some things I had to do. But I needed to speak to you guys about consequence. Consequence looks different to you and I than it does to the narcissist. And I'm actually keeping this helmet on because I got a couple hoodies double hoodied up, but I'll just keep the helmet on because it is really frigid out here with the wind. Of course, it's about 35, 40 degrees, but with the wind, it's more like 25, 30. So you get the point. Consequence for you and I looks a lot different than it does to a narcissist. You know why? Because the narcissist doesn't, they don't believe in consequences for them. They definitely believe in consequence for you. Because when they come, how they live their life passing the buck. And I can't wait to see this video and see how the sound quality is with these mics, because I got the screen on, the windscreen. So putting it through the test. Yeah, they go through life doing things that they do, and they have a made up mind that consequence don't apply to them. I mean, I don't know right way, because I'm not in their head, if this is something they consciously think, but I do know by their actions and their behavior, it's undeniable that you and I know that they're never going to take responsibility for anything, right? And I'm going to show you what consequence works to the benefit of an empath and a chosen one, and it works against the narcissist. And a lot of times things will not happen as we think they should happen with regards to consequence. They don't happen to the narcissist when we think and as we think they should happen to the narcissist. But mind you me, there's a God, and they are living consequence, whether they want to accept that or not. And you know how they're living consequence? They are living consequence because of the very fact they deserted their true self. That is the ultimate consequence that they're suffering. All the other consequences that we endure, whether it was prior to a narcissist, it benefits us because it causes us to introspect, and we, as empaths and chosen ones, we acknowledge consequence. From the time we're born into this world and you see good and bad and different things, you have boundaries, you have things in place in your home. If you had some type of structure, or in school you had structure, in your community you had structure with regards to the police department, you do a crime, you got to do time. Da 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 da. So these consequences are what rule and govern our world. And some call it laws, whatever, whatnot. But had we not had these laws, can you imagine how much worse a narcissist would be? They live their life in their warped sense of their warped mentality. The laws don't apply to them anyway. But they are conscious of certain things. If it wasn't for their consciousness of certain things, and knowing they could blatantly get away with it, they would murder you in open sight. They would murder you in broad daylight and just keep going. And some have done that. So staying on par with what I'm talking about, consequences benefits us as empaths and chosen ones, because what we do is we introspect. We look at this as a situation in our life where we know if we do certain things, we can almost expect to have a decent outcome. It doesn't always work out that way. But again, the consequences are there and they're in place, and we're conscious of these consequences all through life. If we were not, we would be a dark triad, just like them. We would be evil entities from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed. This is what the Bible called the wicked. And they say the wicked can't sleep at night unless they've caused someone to stumble or fall or hurt someone. So we look at consequence. Even after we've suffered the consequence of something, it causes us to think about that thing in respects to, I have to do something different. Not just different in regards to getting away with it the next time around. The consequences have caused me to rethink that thing and ultimately go a different direction. Turn over a new leaf. Begin to live a different life. A life that didn't know it was this dark in here, guys. To turn over a new leaf, to live a different life. And so, going back to the narcissists, they don't look at consequence this way. Because again, they've deserted the true self. They've deserted everything that was supposed to govern their life, to guide their life. Through ups and downs, good and bad, this developmental stage of life, which we normal people or healthy empaths, chosen ones, non-narcissists go through. We learn to sometimes take the good with the bad. Some things don't always work out for us, and we accept those consequences because of whatever dynamics or things, parameters are in place. And we continue to develop. Not the narcissist. They are on an autonomous quest, and they only know one thing, and one thing well. That is to pass the buck, and they have already made preparations for how they are going to pass the buck if and all a situation gets out of hand. So the consequences, they won't deal with them. The consequences will be put in the lap of someone else. Mind you, me, best believe, the consequences are already stacked up against you, and they're already being loaded onto someone else, unbeknownst to that person, whomever they may choose. And a lot of times they may choose them on the spur of the moment. And this is where the smearing of you comes in, because they can't hold that grenade. That's a hot potato to them. That does not have anything to do with them in their world. That is all you. You get in a marriage with them, you get in a relationship, it's all you. They came in with grace, they came in with this angelic presence, and you just didn't appreciate them. They have a narrative already in place to not only not accept and be responsible for certain consequences, whether it's in part or as a whole. They come in already deliberately, decisively, demonically orchestrating the demise of someone and the consequences for them to be had, not you, not them. So I'm saying all this to you guys because oftentimes when we deal with a narcissist and we realize or we discover that they are disordered, and you've heard a lot of us say they won't change, they can't change in and of themselves. What are they going to change into? How's therapy going to help them? That's what I'd ask anybody. From this point on, say if they're 30 years old, you was 30 years old, how long and how effective, if any, change is possible for someone who doesn't know what to change into. Who is going to take the time to instruct a grown-ass man or woman on how to live and behave and accept and respect other people's boundaries, other people's existence? How are you going to reteach or teach someone like this to rethink the way they think after 30 years of thinking that way? Now, you may say, well, anybody can change. Well, I'll tell you one thing is very true about the narcissist. They can change. Yep, I said it. I know it goes against what I just said. They can change, and I'm going to tell you how. They can change from manipulation to manipulation to dark to darker to dark to darker. They can change progressively from bad to worse. Because they're running. They're fugitives now. You have to understand it. They are running away from the true self. They are running away from the very thing that some of us think they can change to. Let's go back to just the core principles of what they are and how they got that way. They deserted the true self. The things that were core to their development, they ran away from that at an early age, never to seek it out ever again in their life, because what they've adopted was a false self. So the false self works in their mind, irregardless to all the consequences and all the failures and all the relationships that they've been in and out. They're only using you like a lily pad in a pond, as a toad or a frog is jumping from lily pad to lily pad. There was a game when I grew up. It was a game called, I want to say Frogger, something like that. Some of you may remember in the 80s, 70s, 80s, it was a little Atari game, Frogger or something. Excuse me, and that actually tells me that is synonymous with what a narcissist is. They are only using the lily pad to get where they need to go. You're the lily pad. You're the paper cup. You're the paper plate. You're the plastic spoon, the plastic fork, the plastic knife. How many people you see go to a picnic in the park and they bring all plastic utensils and they cater and they give people their plates and people go sit down and eat? How many of those plastic spoons and forks do you believe these people are hoarding and retrieving to save, to take home, to wash and reuse again? Now, in some cases, some people do that. I'm not here to judge you, but I'm just trying to give you an analogy of how a narcissist sees you. You're disposable. You're disposable in the worst way. You're no better than a roll of toilet paper. Roll of toilet paper, and when you're done with that, it goes right down the toilet. This is something we must accept, and that's why I wanted to talk about consequence as it relates to you and I as opposed to a narcissist. So today I want you to realize whatever kind of little talk you want to sit down and have with the narcissist, you've already been watching some videos, probably mine and some other guys or some other guys and not mine, and you're sitting there saying, wow, you know, I'm getting educated on this. I really just need to sit down, and I don't have to tell them that they are narcissists, but I need to sit down and try to niche out, iron out what they can have and what I can have, and just leave on amicable terms. Try to strike a deal with the narcissist, and they will more than comply if I tell them they can have half of the house, and they can have a couple of cars, or they can have X amount of money, and we can just do it that way, and not go to court. And let me tell you something. Don't dare. Use your energies as you elevate and educate yourself on watching these videos and listening to us. Do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Because in doing that talk, you're doing that narcissist a favor. What you're doing is enlightening them on the fact that you are leaving. No contact is a real thing. And it's one of the most effective things that you can do. I know it from living proof. There may be so much you want to say to the narcissist, you want to give them a piece of your mind, and you might just want to have that talk I just talked about, and just because you're a peaceable person, you're a well-meaning person, empath, chosen ones. God bless you for being that way. The narcissist is not going to reward you or give you any brownie points for that. They're going to punish you because of your good nature. They've already punished you thus far. Because of the good that's in you is why they hate you. If you didn't know that. It's hard to wrap your brain around that. But once you get the fundamentals of who they are, like I said, back down to ABCD, you have to start and never forget the fundamental principles of who they are. They are running from their shadow, the true self. Because the true self will cause them to sit down and pay attention and give regard to consequences of how they're doing things and how they're living their life, how they're moving. And it would drastically alter the way that they live, think, and move, and treat people. They don't want to do that because that takes sacrifice. That takes respecting other people. They don't even respect themselves. Why did they end up adopting this way of life? Okay, we know because they were either coddled too much, they were traumatized, beat, deserted, isolated, punished. Multiple reasons why. We all came up tough. Why did they end up narcissists and we didn't? God had his hand on us, I can say that for a fact. Did he not have his hand on them? I think free will God has given each individual, and in your developmental stages of life, there is something called conscience that's been afforded all of us. So even as that child begins to see that they can get over and get what they want if they cry enough or beg enough or wear their parent down, they begin to see that this is effective and it works for them. But they also are exposed to people that are not getting everything they want. So I'm here to tell you, for that reason and that reason alone, they have options. They have a choice to make. They choose unanimously to continue in their ill behavior. So am I supposed to have pity on them? Not at all. If you do have a little amount of pity for them and mercy, keep your mercy to yourself and have mercy for them at a distance. Feed their asses out a long-handled spoon. Believe me, God will not hold that against you. People say, oh, you got to pray for them. That's like saying pray for Satan. They are very conscious of what they're doing. Just as much as a person is conscious enough to accept God in their life, they were conscious enough to accept and pledge allegiance to the devil, to Satan. So guys, I want you guys to just know I love everyone. I love you to death. There's going to be some rapid changes with regards to me and some stuff that I want to do. And I'm not going to speak about what, but I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. I really do enjoy what I do when I do it. And I want it to continue to be organic. I don't think I've ever re-recorded a video, with exception of in the intro, maybe one or two when I stumbled over a word or two, and it was just blatantly bad. For the most part, I just keep it the way it is, and I'm just speaking right from the heart, and that is the way I want to do it, and that's the way I expect to keep doing it. I don't know where you guys are right now in your walk of life, in your faith, in your healing from abuse. But I'm here to tell you, man, right now I pray for everyone that's under my voice. Just continue to pay attention to the ones of us who are trying to lead you out of the darkness into the light, okay? And I promise you, man, it's going to work out. You can't see it. You might not even feel it. But if you need a little bit of my faith to carry you over, I believe that God will change things right in front of your eyes. He didn't bring you this far to leave you like that, like they used to say in the church. And I wholeheartedly embrace that saying. You know, I don't rock the church, but there's some beautiful people in there, man. I hope one day they wake up like I did. Meantime, you still got to rep the Lord, man, because he's king and he's supreme. So if it had not been for him, I wouldn't be here right now, because I got a story, and it's called his story. History. So listen, let's go make history, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. That being said, bless.